Morning all. Right, let's get stuck into some important discussions around COVID-19, the virus, what you should and shouldn't do, and how you should protect yourself going forward. I'm here with the awesome Rebecca Smith. We're at the head office of the Blue Sky Thinking Group, and Rebecca's in charge of Safe Hands. So I thought we'd best get her on and get her to share her knowledge and experience with us because, well, you're a nurse?
Nurse by background,
By trade, yeah?
Yeah,
how long were you a nurse for?
It was a few years upon qualification, but I dedicated all of my my college course and university course to health. So 5 years in training, 3 years upon qualification.
And you said paediatric?
Paediatrics, babies and kids predominantly.
Why would anybody want to do that?
Why not?
I'm glad there's people like you on the planet. So look, there's I think a lot of scaremongering, but there's also big realities out there as well. From my perspective, as my audience will know, I'm focused on a lot really regards the aftermath of what's going to happen with people losing their jobs and everything else. And, and I look at the virus, and of course we see in Italy in particular lots of people dying.
Yeah.
Is everyone going to die?
Hopefully not. So the UAE have done a great job in terms of implementing measures to promote social distancing, which is a bit of a buzz term right now. Everyone's heard about it.
Never heard of that before.
Never heard of it before. Now everyone's heard of it. And I think just today they've taken that up a notch in terms of what you should and shouldn't be doing and where you should and shouldn't be going. And it all seems pretty serious from that perspective. But the reason that they're doing that is to try and flatten the curve, which is another term that you're hearing about often recently. And it's basically to stop the healthcare system becoming overwhelmed and like I say, spread the contamination of the virus over a longer period of time so that the healthcare system can cope with this basically.
Is that literally the number one concern, having a lot of people with the virus at the same time and hospitals not being able to deal with that capacity of people?
That's definitely it. And that's what we've seen in Italy. Okay, so if you look at the two curves that you see on the graph, basically Italy's done this. So a lot of people got contaminated at the same time. Hospitals became overwhelmed. You can draw it down. You can draw it. Hospitals became overwhelmed, were unable to cope, and that's why we're seeing this high death rate. Basically, what we're trying to avoid with the social distancing measures is this, okay? We want to see more of a gradual curve, which means that more people can be treated if needed, and that death rate lessens, basically. It reduces.
Now, the UAE is a small country with a relatively small population. It feels to me that there's a lot of hospitals in this country.
Yeah.
Is that just my observation after being here 15 years that I notice it more, or are there lots of hospitals and are there lots of beds?
Lots of hospitals, lots of beds, and we're in a really fortunate position to be in the UAE right now because of that. Healthcare here is privatized, so they're competing against each other, which is why you see an abundance of hospitals and clinics out here. For that reason, we're in a great position to be able to cope with the outbreak in comparison to other countries right now. Yeah.
Okay. So when you look at the UAE, we see that there's a really low number of outbreaks.
Yeah.
Compared to, the Italys, the UK and France and Spain right now. Is that because it's being really well managed, or is that because, I don't know, we're lucky?
Yeah, I think
someone said something about the heat. The virus doesn't like the heat, and so we live as close to the sun as is possible to live here in Dubai.
Yeah.
So, is that got a part to play in it?
I mean, there's research that needs to be done into the virus, and I think that's been one of the biggest problems. It's new, so research is underway even right now. So there's lots that we need to find out about it. There were indications that it doesn't do well in hot environments, which could be a contributing factor. But I think the UAE have just done a fantastic job at acting quickly and implementing measures to, like I say, flatten the curve early on. I think that's been the biggest contributor so far to the low case count.
Okay, we saw schools closing a long time ago, and in the UK, schools I think just closed on Friday, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
So that's what, 4 weeks ago they closed schools here?
Yeah, maybe just over.
Yeah, over 4 weeks ago. So definitely you can see from some actions they were taking.
Yeah.
You look at someone like Singapore.
Yeah.
People have followed the instructions that the government laid out, and so we see Singapore has done really well with it as well.
Yeah.
And so maybe they're two good examples.
Really good examples.
But let's talk about after this, because we can see in China that the country's coming out the other side of it. So the hope is going to be in the not too distant future, okay, other countries are going to come out the other side of it and things are going to get better. How is that going to impact people though? Because we see the tourism industry has been decimated. We see that hospitality is decimated as well. Airlines to some degree as well. Lots of people are going to lose their job. So let's talk mental health then. Because is it not going to lead to a lot of people being really depressed?
For sure, I imagine so. I definitely think we're going to see an increase in this. If you look at some of the mental health providers here in the UAE, I got an email from one facility just yesterday. They're offering free workshops and free online videos to people who may be suffering from the mental health effects of this outbreak. So they're definitely anticipating that it's going to be affecting people in that way. And just from my experience, I can imagine it definitely will,
See, I see that as being a real big concern.
Okay. For sure, massive concern.
Okay, we have, I think globally we have something like 3,000 suicides every day globally. And you hear a lot more younger people, okay, that are taking their lives than ever before. And I don't have the actual statistics on that, but that's what I hear in the news. So if we've got mental health conditions to deal with, you can have people that aren't going to be able to earn any money. There's going to be a recession. There's going to be companies that close. There's going to be businesses that go bankrupt. What can people do to stay in the right frame of mind? How do you get people at a time like this to keep thinking positive when literally everybody is pretty much riddled with fear? So how can you get that? I mean, obviously there's going to be industries that thrive through this period, but when you're in an industry that maybe you don't know the future or the future's looking bleak, how can I sitting at home right now, staying indoors, how can I stay positive? What can I do?
I think it's really important to focus on what you can control as opposed to what you can't in these sorts of circumstances. I think if we let ourselves get consumed by the panic and the fear and all of the news and information that's out there, it can put us in a really negative state. So I think the first thing you need to do is limit the information you're absorbing. Okay, just look at the necessities when it comes to the news and information out there. I think secondly, focus on your state and the time that you have. A lot of people find themselves at home with extra time on their hands. See this as a positive. Use it to do something you wouldn't usually have had the opportunity or time to do. But make sure whatever it is that you're doing with your extra time is conducive to self-improvement and that positive mindset. Learning to cook, okay, doing an online course, starting that exercise regime, starting that healthy diet, whatever it is, make sure that it's conducive to self-improvement, like I say. Get up in the morning and make sure you're not sat until 11 a.m. in your pajamas trying to work. So prepare yourself to face the day as you usually would if you were coming into the office. So I get up, and even though I've been working from home on occasion, I still put either my corporate attire on or my little safe hands top to work from the laptop at, because again, it puts you in that right frame of mind.
I'm exactly the same.
Are you?
If I get up in the morning, okay, obviously you know that I go to the gym and whatnot, we'll work out. When I finish, if I don't put my suit on, I can't work. I end up finding myself sucked into scrolling and stuff like that. But if I go upstairs, shower, put my shirt and tie on, I come downstairs, then I'm in the right frame of mind for working. What about people that need to learn new skills? What kind of new skills do you think could be valuable, okay, for people going forward? I mean, is it going to encourage people to get into the medical profession when maybe they haven't thought of that before? Potentially. There's definitely a big focus on that profession and that industry at the moment. So, I mean, I'm biased. I would encourage people to go and do it. It's a brilliant profession. But from our side, obviously, we train a lot of people from a first aid perspective. And I think now more than ever, learning something like first aid and emergency response is super, super important. There's a huge emphasis in terms of not taking those unnecessary trips to the hospitals or clinics and avoiding the healthcare system becoming burdened or overwhelmed. So it's really important that you know how to deal with those minor accidents and injuries should they occur in the home. Granted that social distance is in full force, so we're trying to accommodate that. So for example, we've launched a series of online courses so that people can still get the skills.
But there's lots you can do online in terms of courses and education. Like I say, use it as an opportunity and start that course or that passion project that you've been wanting to do.
Everyone that's got children needs to know how to protect them better. Everyone that essentially, I mean, you know my story about, you know, watching somebody have a heart attack in front of me and seeing that many years ago. When you look at what you've been doing here with Safe Hands over the course, how many years has it been now here?
8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
How many people do you think you've trained over the last 8 years?
Thousands, yeah.
And how many courses have you done? Any idea?
Again, it would be thousands. Yeah, I don't have the exact number, but it's a lot of people, a lot of courses. Yeah.
So a lot of people have been touched by what you've done. They've been helped, and so they're in a better place than they were before.
Yeah.
But I bet there's still a lot of people out there that haven't taken learning about first aid and taken these types of things seriously because it will never happen to them.
Yeah.
And I think right now is a really good time because of the virus. No one expected it to come. It came and blindsided all of us. And so we never thought that would happen to us, even though we're now seeing the videos from Bill Gates, you know, saying predicting it 5 years ago and stuff like that. These things are really important. Okay, how do people get in touch with an organization like Safe Hands? What do they do? How can they get on courses? You know, what's available to them?
I mean, all of our courses and service offerings are listed on our website online at www.safehandsuae.com. Yeah. You can find us on Instagram as well. We put a lot of work into our social media. That's Safe Hands UAE. And I think at the moment, we've got a discount running on our new online courses. So they're 150 dirhams for the next 2 weeks. So you can take advantage of those. And again, all of those can be purchased through our website. People
can learn more. Okay, last thing I want to talk about. The nurses, the doctors, the people that work in hospitals at the moment, you've been in that environment. Okay, not for the COVID outbreak, but you've been in a busy environment like that before. Yeah. What are they going to be thinking right now? What are they going to be feeling right now? And how's it going to, are they going to be in a positive frame of mind? Are they going to be backs against the wall? Just give us a bit of a picture there.
I can imagine that they haven't really got the time to think at the moment. I imagine they're on autopilot, and this is just from my experience when I was in that environment. When you're coping with a situation like this or something that's as serious as this, you're on autopilot and you're doing what you need to do. I imagine that they won't really understand the full effects of this until afterwards. But that's why social distancing and the things that the UAE and the other countries around the world are implementing are so important. Because these guys are still getting up every day and they're going into the hospital, they're putting themselves at risk to take care of the people that need that treatment. So it's really, really important that people heed the advice that's been given. And like I say, make sure you stay at home as much as possible, limit that interaction and flatten this curve, as it were.
Okay, just to summarize this then. So we've got social distancing, all the sanitizing things that you need to do, okay, to make sure we flatten the curve. Yep. Okay, one thing that you said I thought was really relevant, okay, and maybe you should pay attention to this. Stop consuming, okay, on social media. Okay, make sure that you're getting news from the right sources so that you know what's going on and not the kind of like the drama that a lot of people are putting out there. Okay, and on top of that, make sure, okay, you understand what's going on in your own household and you understand from a first aid perspective what to do. And then have some respect for these incredible people that are working in these hospitals dealing with this situation right now. I mean, I could only imagine what's going on in Italy right now with the amount of people that what they're having to cope with. So they deserve a lot of respect and a lot of admiration.
Yeah, for sure.
Bex, thank you so much. I was going to give you a high five then, but I won't because it's social distancing.
Give you a virtual elbow.
Virtual elbow. Pay attention, stay informed, folks. And people like Rebecca know a lot about this kind of stuff. So it's great to have her with us. We'll see you soon.